Hey Tim, how are you?
Okay, okay, I'm here. Can you guys hear me? Let's
Yes,
see.
we can hear you.
Oh, that's so weird. Okay, so I got a new like audio thing. So like I do music on the side, right? Y'all, I mean, it's been a little bit, but I mean, you can see I got instruments and stuff like that. So I got like a new audio converter and whatnot, and I hooked it up, and I brought some like I had really good monitor speakers that I brought from storage, and I hooked them up, and I gonna put them on stands right up here by my desk. But right now they're under the desk until the stands come, and so I just heard a voice come from nowhere under the desk. It was kind of creepy, but whatever. Oh shoot. Um. So yeah, what's going on with everyone? What are we
Hey
working on?
Tim, you never told me you were into music.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have a band even. Here, look. Mm,
A little less
but
call
it's
for it.
yeah, yeah. Uh, a nice Epiphone Les Paul. I like that guitar.
Yeah, that's what
Um,
this is. This is an Epiphone too, but as Sammy Hagar would say, let's fall in your face, right?
oh well, whatever. Every guitar has its time, right? So like it depends on what you want to do.
That's true.
Um, but yeah, dude, thanks for coming to the mobile home park call. How could we help you guys? What's everyone working on? Anyone have a deal that they want to talk about?
I have one, Tim. I know it's not going to be great. It's your quintessential Florida deal that's overpriced, but it I guess it would be helpful to go through it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Can you share your screen if you
Sure.
if you got it pulled up?
Okay. Um, I can figure this out here. Share. All right. Can you guys see?
Mhm.
I have, way too many tabs open.
Or I mean, I see the Zoom thing at least.
Okay. Oh, do you only see that or do you see?
So I see Pines on, is it really Pines on Vineville?
That's actually for, yeah, that there is an apartment complex I'm working on called the Pines on Vineville. But here, okay. So the broker sent me this the other day. It just went live last Friday. Um, and so these are this is all you got. You got financials and rent rolls, and this is the OM. So I'll open this. So Magnolia Court. This is very close to where I live. It's right here. I live right here. So it's about 10, 15 minutes. It's 6 units. This is the sale price is 525. I think what really
Oh,
struck me, go ahead.
yeah. No, no, sorry. You go on. I think I saw this.
I shared it to I posted in the group for Action Academy. So basically the only value add that I could see was just raising rents. But the gross here, when I put it into my this calculator, oops, um, it didn't match. So I was playing around with it. So here is, yep. Okay, so this is just as is, as you know, not changing anything. Total price 525. There are 6 occupied park-owned homes. I ballparked this. So this average value, is that the amount that if you were to replace them now, or is that what they are with like having been depreciated?
Matthias, what are your thoughts? I think it's what they are now, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it would be. I always do what the current value is. If you're lucky, you get some POH schedule from them and it shows like the years and the age and everything. And we talked about updating that template, actually showing like a shell value for the POH for the at exit right after 5 years or so. So I always consider like the current value. It's hard to see in the future, so I always go with current.
So I looked in the county records, and 5 of them are from 93 and 1 of them is from 95.
Okay.
So this was all pretty much, I didn't have to change anything. This is, I researched infill, and apparently it's already grandfathered in, and you can't add anything else. So this would be 0. Here, and so I just basically plugged in. So I had a really hard time with this, and it was very helpful what you said last night about looking for this, like, because there's no lot rent, because none of them there's no vacant lots. So I didn't know what to put there for lot rent. But using the monthly rent for a studio apartment and cutting it in half. But apparently there's no studio apartments for rent in like a 45-minute radius. Which would be helpful in another situation. But I really had a difficult time. So I took the average monthly rent. If I go back here to his email, they're all over the place. But the average is $880 for these 6. These tenants have been here for a really long time, and definitely before the previous owner bought it. So they just never raised rent on them at all. It seems like, which, and to be fair, our area is extremely expensive. There's a one bed, 1 bath is probably $1,750. There's just, if you want anything else, there's just no other options, anything less than that. So this is definitely filling a need. I'm sure vacancy won't be an issue, but it's just the people that are currently there managing to, I don't know. The value add is hard with mobile homes.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't hold my breath for a value add on this.
Yeah.
My thoughts, at least.
Do you think, go ahead, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Do you think that so it's an investor that bought it. He bought it in 2021, and he bought it for like 325 or like 345. So like he's trying to sell it for quite a lot more in 4 years or whatever. He was just like, it's cash flowing. I just need a place to park my cash, and I don't really care about raising rents. I'm not really sure the mentality. I guess maybe that's not important, but I guess it is important. It is, it helps me understand like where he's coming from, to understand like why is he selling? Well, the only thing I can think of is he's just trying to make a buck. I mean, which is not bad, but
maybe.
Yeah.
So I used to want to know more. I used to be like, why are they selling? What's going on? Like, are they making, am I overpaying by them making $200,000 or whatever, or 2 million or whatever in 2 years? Like, am I overpaying? And it would get in the way of me seeing the asset for what it is and what I can do to make it work. Like, I don't know. It it led me to a lot of like overthinking and like not taking action, to be like, oh well, I don't know if this guy deserves the $200,000 or $2 million or whatever. And then instead of like being like, how can I make this work? I'd be like, that's bullshit. And then I just wouldn't do deals. So I don't tend to think like that anymore. I more look at, where are we now? Where can we go? What kind of returns can I get for people?
Okay. That is helpful because I guess I hope to at some point have the same mentality where it just comes more. It's just like, oh, let's cut out the bullshit and just see if it works or not. So yeah, when I plugged it in here to this
Yeah,
seems
let's go through that.
okay. This seems really high, the lot rent.
Yeah.
But because I know that whatever a studio apartment would rent for, it would probably be way more than 900. Just given our area.
What city is it?
So it's we are about an hour to
Right there,
2
right there.
hours east of Pensacola. So this is Choctaw Beach. It's a very small strip. It's like it's not even a town. It's like county administered. Very, very low
Sorry,
population.
what were you saying?
Choctaw Beach in Florida.
Who's that talking?
I don't think he was talking to you.
Did you
Vanessa.
ask? Did you ask him? Oh, what do you mean he's giving you? Like he's sending you pages,
Okay.
but they're already complete.
Who's talking right now? That's
Steven.
It's my alter ego, maybe. Is it Steven? Okay, I'm gonna mute Steven. I don't know. Carry on.
Okay,
So-
sorry.
No, that's funny.
All right.
Uh,
So yeah, so this was the best guess that I could come up with. And then that would mean for if this is the average, if the average rent is 880, then this would be the remaining rent for the park owned homes.
You have to, Vanessa, real quick, I just noticed that too. Kind of butchers your numbers a little bit. You have to put the lot rent, you have the total rent, right? That you showed earlier, but it says unit 1 to 6. You have to put a total rent in the second line where it says gross home income. Because what it does, it actually deducts the lot rent and separates it out. Because right now you're showing 6 units for the park-owned homes, and actually it says you have negative 1,400. There you go.
Right.
That's probably why the
'cause
numbers didn't match.
that was very confusing to me too. I was like,
It's so I got stuck there the first time too. So why is this not working? It's unbelievable. So
Right.
I got stuck there too. Don't feel bad, but that's what it
Okay.
is.
thank you. I'll fix this one too in a minute. But okay, so that makes so much more sense. And okay, so these are the financials he gave me. He does bill back water. And then, but that's it. And okay, so that's the income from bill back. He doesn't, it's essentially equal. He doesn't really make any money off it.
Yeah. But you
but it-
shouldn't, just so everyone knows, you're not supposed to make money off water, because then
Okay.
you're like a municipality, and it's legally, what I hear, not so good. So
Really? That's like
take a little hit
definitely-
on water, instead of like, if you're going to not make exactly that, make a little bit less than, than making a little bit more.
Interesting, because that's totally in apartment complex. That's totally like you're supposed to try to get more income from that. I think it's called
This is what I've
rub.
heard mostly. Like, I haven't run into that, but in like the mobile home park space, I've heard that that more.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cool. Well, that's good to know. Electric is supposed to be, it is this low because it's just like 2 lampposts that the
Yeah.
park is owns. And then real estate taxes also for this area, this is ungodly low. I guess because it's the next county over. But seriously, their taxes are super high too. So but I double checked. I checked the tax assessor's website and that's true.
Do you think it's gonna stay that when you buy it for the new
No.
price?
No,
Okay.
absolutely not. For
What
sure.
what do you think it would be like? What percentage of purchase price do they usually reassess at?
Gosh. All I know is they're just gonna go off the purchase price, but I couldn't tell you that. I could find out actually. Let me make notes. Percentage. Okay. So this is what they said that they spent for repairs for the past year. Again,
Dang, what do they do? Like, I want to see a rundown of what $2,000 in a year will get you for 6 park-owned homes. How old are the park-owned homes again?
almost as old as I am. They're from 93 and 95, so
Yeah, like uh yeah, I don't know. So well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. That's again, I want to see like a bill of sale for that stuff that equals exactly $2,000 because it
right.
seems pretty
And
lean.
it seemed like it was a round number, so I felt like it was probably an estimate, and they're probably forgetting something or
100%.
just not saying it. Trash removal, it's this. He said instead of trash removal, he just said dumpster. So I guess he rents a dumpster that stays on site.
$100 a month. Okay.
Just
Sure.
about, yep.
Sure.
Remains. It sounds plausible. And then so here, okay, I'm glad that I fixed that you told me to fix that number, Matthias. But here still, so this is the NOI, right? So this is what Tim you said on the Facebook group last night, that it's a really, really low expense limit or expense ratio.
Yeah, because it's a small park and they're all park-owned homes. But like you can see why that's lower than it would probably be because he's spending like nothing on the homes. I'm not saying he's bullshitting that number as much as I'm saying there might be some deferred maintenance and stuff like that. Maybe he's bullshitting a little bit. Who knows? But
I did ask if the parks were rent to own, and the broker didn't answer directly. He just said that they're park owned. So I don't know if that's a thing.
no RTOs, just park owned.
Okay. So
Nessa,
here,
we're quick on the underwriting. So all
Yeah.
the expenses you have in there that you just showed us, and since everything is park-owned home, that's all the expense you see, right?
yeah, that's
Everything.
it.
Okay. Go
Yeah,
down where you showed the NOI and the expense ratio. There's another little field right there. It says 40%.
uh-huh.
You have to take that out because like when you have bigger portfolios and bigger parks you're looking at, they usually separate out like the the lot rent income, the lot expenses, and then like the park owned home income and the expenses. So they separate that. You have technically two different expense ratios, because they are different. A lot, tenant owned homes might be only like 35%. Park owned home might be 40, 50, 60. We have seen almost 80 with
Yeah.
crazy park owned home parks. So you have to take that out and do a zero because you have all the expenses already up there. You're penalizing yourself another $11,000 for their
Mhm.
reports, basically. And the same on your ends where you show 35% on your side.
Here.
Right there. Yep, for your pro forma, also zero. So they change the numbers a little bit. So you can
Okay.
see now it's like shows 17%. It's extremely low and very unrealistic. And I think there's probably some repair maintenance costs not reported. Like Tim said, it's very low. So that's why the logic comes in and you do your own, underwriting and see where we should be and, get a better picture. I just want to give that. I get stuck there sometimes too. I want to give that little tip to you. It really depends on how you underwrite this and what the ratio is on TOH and POH. So I hope this helps.
Yes, thank you.
Can we on a updated version, can you make it so scroll down a little bit? Matt, can you make it so NOI for all operations? Well, something where those are highlighted, those numbers are highlighted. I love the reds for where the reds need to be, but I think expense ratio for all operations and yeah, that stuff. Maybe that bottom line can all be highlighted. I don't
Yep.
know.
I can work on that. No problem.
I need you to dumb things down for me.
I know. I figured already. Yeah. I have a huge list. Look, this is all the list I want to work on here for you. No, just kidding.
There we go. Love it.
So, okay, I did want to ask about reserves. This means you're going to put $150. You're just going to keep a 3-month reserve. Is that how that works? Like, I wasn't sure how this was broken down.
Yeah, I usually do. It's kind of, it comes from like also from apartments underwriting, right? You want to put like a certain reserve up for like capex or other repairs, like surprises. And I usually put like the number of park on homes in there, and then kind of work with the number 100, 150. The bigger the park, I make this number smaller. It's really more of an art than a science, whatever makes sense. It's usually, I just underwrote something. It's like between 1% and 2%. On some of the stuff I underwrote. So yeah, you have 3%. I think that's conservative. But also you have a very small park here, so $900 won't get you far. So the bigger the park, the smaller the percentage can be, right? So if 3% right now, which seems high compared to what I'm underwriting right now, because that thing is much bigger. So keep that in mind. Don't get always stuck on the percentages either. It really depends on the size of the park, right? You have not much scale. A plumber, it's going to cost as much as a plumber costs per hour, right? And if you have a bigger job, you get a better price. You have the economy of scale. Just keep that in mind. So on this one, I will probably go even a little bit higher, just because it's a small park.
Okay, so maybe like 250.
300, I would do, yeah, 250, 300. Yeah, exactly.
I have heard, so for just lot rent, just like the tenant owned home portion, to do like 50 per unit per year. So like just rule of thumb that I've heard from other people with more experience than me.
Good to
Gotcha.
know. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, when for the pro forma, I have to fix this number because this isn't right now. So whatever that was, I think add 432. I'll do math real quick. Oh, sorry, I gotta grab my phone. Sorry, what's 716 plus 430?
1146. True.
Okay, well, we'll go with that for now.
It doesn't matter. Truth doesn't matter.
Yeah,
As long as it
we're
sounds
good.
good, we'll do it. Okay. I like it.
Oh, let's see. Okay, so here, and then, so okay, that should calculate the rest. I did want to, let me move this.
You
I
also
did-
plan, do you just increase the park-owned home rent and not the lot rent? Because what you just did, you just increased the home rent, but not the lot rent underneath.
Oh, I see.
If
So
it's a
I
really nice area of Florida, I wouldn't be surprised if you could do 550.
Yeah.
it like a lot of like snowbirds love Walton County, like 30, that's where 30A is, where like Seaside and all that stuff. And it's definitely people move here to, I mean, that's, yeah.
Change it to 550 then. I mean,
Okay.
you know, it's one of those things where because it's all park owned homes, you can reasonably play with numbers a little bit, right? So like, as long as you're not like trying to do like they've done other places where it's like, okay, it's all park owned homes, so my lot rent's $1,000 and my home rent's $46. Like that's bullshit. But like 550, you know, you could take that to an appraiser, and you know that's reasonable.
Okay. I think I also, now talking about, like, we mentioned repairs and deferred maintenance, probably this, where can I put reserves here? That needs to be higher, like way higher. Okay.
Do it.
I mean, that's a guess, but I'm gonna go with it. Okay.
Go back up to just
sorry.
like what we're up there.
Okay.
Let's scroll up. So in terms of your financing assumptions, and maybe I'm jumping ahead here, but I saw that earlier. So you're probably going to have more like a 20 to 25 year amortization, and you're probably going to be at like 8.5%, 9% right now.
All right, let's do.
Yeah.
Okay. And also I did ask, and because it's crazy, because this area is crazy. Like there's multiple offers already. And so the broker is like, yeah, he's not budging on price at all. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, obviously I'm out, but I'm still looking to underwrite it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So, okay. So that should be corrected then. I know that you did mention last night, Tim, about, oops, this is management.
Mhm.
So this is where you would put, like, if you were gonna be the asset manager or the property manager and asset manager, this is where you would put the,
So I put in the offsite management section, which is down
okay,
a little bit. And then
here.
I use that 5% or whatever it is for on-site management, because you'll want some kind of community manager who is there and you want to pay them.
How would that work with such a small park?
I mean, yeah, it depends. Like, how close are you to it?
I'm literally like no more than 15 minutes away.
Gotcha. I mean, it would be your first park, you know, maybe put that to 0, put 5% offsite management, pay yourself just a little bit, you know, and realize that you're not going to get rich and it's not going to change your life monetarily, but like the experience and like learning the ins and outs of running it, that's where the value is mostly. But still, like, give yourself payment, because uh I worked for a while doing this without paying myself anything, and it wears you down.
But here though, why didn't this number change?
Um, which why did the replacement reserves change or the management change?
Management. So I changed this to 5. Oops. Ooh, I don't want to do that. I changed this to 5% for offsite management.
Mhm.
But it didn't add anything. It added it to the pro forma column here, but it didn't add it to my 1 year.
Can you click on that 0? It's probably the formula's gone. Yeah, it's just there's a 0 hard code in there.
That was
For some
probably
reason.
my fault somehow.
Happens. No worries.
Let's see. So that is just 5% times that. Okay. So this should be, oops, I didn't want to do that. 5%. This times this. Okay. All right. So, but sorry, Tim, you did want to add, you were saying you did want to add on-site management. That's what this 5%.
No, I mean, not for something so small. I don't know.
When does that become necessary? Obviously, if it's remote, for sure.
I mean, I didn't have one for at least a year and a half on my first park that's 36 units, and like you know, like hour 15 or so drive from me. So I'm just like, if any one of you guys have an issue, just call me, and they would. So like, yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. So, I mean, and since I'm pretty close, theoretically, I would probably not have one. Okay. So just what kind of software do you guys use when you are asset managing?
uh for asset managing or property managing?
Sorry. Property managing.
I use Buildium for property management, and there's, you know, there's a handful of others that have pluses and minuses.
Because I mean, according to this, they're not using any sort of software.
It's too small. It doesn't make sense. It barely made sense for my 36. It makes sense now, but like when I first got Buildium, it didn't super make sense. So what I did for a long time was just use Google Sheets, to be honest. Just, you know, like, this is what they owe, this is what they paid. And I went in and I matched what was on the bank statement, because I had them just direct deposit into a bank because I didn't want to pick up cash or checks. But so I would have everyone do a deposit slip, write their name on it, and then I would match that to, you know, what they owe. And then I just created a ledger like that.
Okay.
I didn't know about anything else. I went in semi-blind in terms of property management, and the Excel thing made sense to me, but Inago has worked well for us in our RV park.
Yeah, we use Inago, Vanessa, and I used it for my duplex that I bought. It was my first rental property, and also a fourplex. And the stuff is free. They make their money on fees that the tenants pay when they pay with credit card and stuff, application fees and stuff like that. They have an app. You can communicate through the app with the tenant. They can send maintenance requests. It works really well. I still use it today. My wife does it. She's our property manager. We use it for a little RV park that Tim and I are working on. I can definitely recommend it for small stuff and for the beginning. It works similar to Buildium. It doesn't have a ton of functions, but it does the job and it's free. You can be free. So I can highly recommend that. If you want to start using it, need some advice, just let me know. Shoot me an email. I can run you through it. It's really easy to use.
Awesome. Okay. It sounds kind of like Zillow Rental Manager as well. It's just very, very basic for small stuff. But
I
yeah,
think it's better. I've seen the rental manager from Zillow. It's similar, but I think Inago is a little better because it really focuses on property management only, where Zillow has some other functions as well. And Inago does a really good job at that with summarizing everything. You can set preset leases, and you can DocuSign through Inago, so you don't need DocuSign, so the tenants can actually sign online through Inago. It's really streamlined. I really like it. So I'll put the link in the chat if you want to check it out. Let me know if you have any questions.
Sure, thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, so okay, I think that's it for here, but yeah, definitely it's not gonna, I wouldn't get anywhere close, price wise. So
Well, but like that gives you an idea of where it should be. Maybe mobile home parks in that area are trading for stupid cap rates. Like maybe it's a 6 cap. Put a 6 in where that 8% is, and then you can change it back if you want. But that'll give you, I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, in the grand scheme of things, that's just one puzzle piece. I mean, so what I like better, your DSCR is 1.35. So a bank will be like, okay, yes, I would like to lend on this. And yeah, I think I'm good with the side by side.
okay,
Matthias, what do you think? Any other updates before we move on?
What I noticed is that the value is actually less than it is right now. So probably, even though after we increase the rents, so we probably increase some of the expenses because we thought there might not be realistic. I would just like to look into that, because even though we increase the rents, we reduce value. It's kind of a red flag for me. That's why I'm looking. If you can scroll up, Vanessa, real quick, I just want to look at the total expenses. Yeah, see, we added like almost $8,000 of expenses because they had no management and their repair and maintenance was really low. You have replacement reserves in there, so that's probably why.
okay.
And we said already that the expense rate was pretty low from the begin with, so that kind of confirms that their value they're looking at, that they want for the sales price, might not be realistic.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
this is what mostly happens. I mean, it's almost always when I underwrite this happens, but sometimes you get close and it's like, oh, might get somewhere here. So that's how it is sometimes. And then you can get creative. That's what Tim is really great at. You can get creative and get closer, right? With seller carry back and then owner financing and stuff like that. You might get really close.
What's the reported NOI versus like global NOI versus what we're seeing?
Okay, so what we have here is 52,660. Oops, how do I get back to here? The OM. It's close.
Okay, so 52, and what's the purchase price?
525.
By 525. So they're saying, close to a 10 cap, like based on reported. Oh yeah. So that 9.98. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, and like at first glance, you see something like that, and you're like, oh shit, it's a 10 cap. That's exactly what I'm looking for. But then you dig a little bit more and you're like, oh, well, not actually. Like they're just not, they're running it unrealistically lean, which would give me worry that they're not putting the necessary money back into the park. to make it nice, you know? Like I see this, I'm like, what kind of shithole is this?
Oh man. Oh, here too. I asked him about insurance as well because everybody knows about Florida insurance and how awful it is. But this is absurdly low. Like this is way less than my house. Like
Yeah.
it's less
So
than
he's
half.
I bet you it's only liability and there's no replacement, at least their current policy, right? So it's only liability and there's no like actual coverage on the homes, which I don't argue with that. I depending on how old and crappy the homes are. I mean, sure. You know, you want at least liability on everything. But if you're going to take it over and someone's going to lend on it, then you're going to have to get replacement coverage on those 6 homes. So I would jack, I mean, sure, maybe 2,500 for liability, but I'd add another, you know, a little bit. But as Matt can tell you, that's already in the park owned home percentage. It's already factored in to your upside potential. So, you know, leave that at 2,500. Definitely jack up the real estate taxes to what you think it would be.
Okay. I think it
Like
probably
just ballpark it, man.
at least this.
Perfect. Okay, let's go down a little bit more.
We zeroed out the park on home expenses down below earlier, so we actually have to put in that stuff up top again because we only have park on homes. If you have a mixture, then you do it separate. But in this case, we don't.
Oh. Like, do you see how like you finally taught me the right way to do it? And now it's all backwards. I don't know where I am anymore. So since we're at 0, then yeah, I mean, I'd put for your upside, well, you're at 50% right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's, yeah, I'd say 50% probably.
Okay.
So
Is this tab good?
keep going down, go down all the way
Oh, sorry.
back there. So,
Keep going down.
yeah. Look at that. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm good there.
All right.
Hey, guys, question. She mentioned this about the water. The lender's going to require flood on that or no?
Maybe.
You know what? They could. So if you want to look at the map again real quick, if I can pull it up. This is the bay. And then there's just under here, this is like a barrier island where like, you know, where the beach is. But this is one row, like one street in from the water, basically.
Yeah, you just want to be cautious on that and just do your homework and call beforehand so that you put it in your numbers if necessary.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put that in my little notes. Flood. Okay. Flood.
It happened to me on a property, so that's why I bring it up.
Thanks, dude.
And it wasn't significant, you know, it was only like, thank God, it was only $300 or $400 that I needed because it was a pond on my property, but they still required it.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So I did send this to a friend she is a residential real estate agent. We work together for my TC stuff. So she does sales and she is looking to park some of her money somewhere to tax shelter it. So I sent it to her. But she's got so much on her plate that it's probably not a good time for her either. But that knowing that I'd probably be managing and she would be bringing the majority of the capital, how would you guys split that? I think that's probably the next tab, but what would be a decent
So,
arrangement if that would
You're
work?
not going to have a PPM because it's going to be a simple JV. So, I don't remember how, I mean, if you're just creating an LLC, you could do most of that stuff yourself. I don't know. Put $1,000 in there for legal fees. Yeah, yes, for the environmental, keep that. Appraisal's probably gonna be a lot less. The appraisal, it's so small, so it's gonna probably, I don't know, be closer to something residential. What do you guys pay for appraisals?
500 per lot.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe put $1,000 in there.
I think it's
Because you'll have
going
to-
up to 550 recently.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, so you do all the underwriting and you do it with the best, the as best as you could think. But as like the deal goes, and as you're talking to the bank, and as you're talking to the appraiser, and as you're blah 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 blah, then you update it as you go to make it more like based in reality.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Survey is not going to be that much.
Oh, sorry. I mixed up appraisals and surveys. Appraisals are anywhere between 750 to like 900.
Okay, we'll keep it at $1,000.
Okay. With
Same with survey.
survey.
Because you're likely, I'd be surprised if you needed an Alta survey, and even if you did, that it would be hopefully relatively cheap, like $3,000 instead of $5,000, which Matt and I are paying 16,500, I think, for the 4 parks we have up in Spartanburg, and it's like 198 units total. So just to give you an idea.
So yeah, this much. Title seems about right.
Yeah, that's all fine looking.
Yep. Okay.
Mhm.
Here. All right. So the only thing I could change here was the acquisitions fee. Which I don't know. If you do a JV, that doesn't happen, right?
It can. I didn't for a while. I took an acquisition fee for the first time last year, for when I closed like the big Georgia portfolio. And you know, me and my partners agreed. I mean, it was some magic that I pulled out of my hat for that closing. So I felt justified in it. And it's a conversation, like if usually acquisition fees are with syndication stuff, but if you like again, it's a conversation mostly.
Okay. Your reserves. This was just a guess.
Sure. I mean, I put 7 to be a little bit more safe.
Okay.
Matt, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I will probably go even higher since it's so small.
But it's in Florida. It's like right on the beach.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
sorry. I mean, it's probably a great area, but I mean, it's still a small mobile home park, so I don't think you get like super low. Like it's almost like apartment level, like 7%. Like I mean, I've seen like 7 cap on like Gulfport, Mississippi apartments. It's not that far away from there. So I would say 8. Me personally, I might be wrong.
Okay.
I like that. I like it. It's safer anyway, right? So you're projecting, what am I going to sell this at sale? So I'm going to be selling it for less than possibly less than reality, which I always like will err on the side of like, I'm probably going to sell this for less than for more, because if I get more, everyone's having a great time. If I get less than projected, then everyone's like, what the hell, Tim? Why is this? It all comes down to being more conservative than not.
Right. Okay.
And rule of thumb, Vanessa, what I do, I usually look at what I purchased, what the purchase cap rate is, and I decompress it like 0.25% per year.
Okay.
So like 4 years is 1% extra. I know it's what somebody I know does in apartments that way. And I like the strategy because you just decompress it. Let's say it's more stress in the capital market or the real estate market in general for commercial real estate. And you just decompress it a little bit. And then if it looks better, like Tim said, you look like a hero. At least you kind of, if it goes the other way, at least you're compensated for that to be safe.
Do you guys do preferred returns as well?
Only on syndications.
Okay,
So
that just
something
makes
like this. So like a JV, I would do 0 preferred, 0 asset management fee, 0 capital transaction fee. And then I would keep it at that, and I'd go like after everything else is good, then I'd go to investor returns, and then I'd be playing with that, you know. It's like what I'm excited. I already see those negative numbers.
the negative 35%.
Dude, it's a 1.56% cash on cash flow. So I mean you're making some money, right?
Well, I guess it just depends on her strategy, right? If she just wants to park her money, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, it's
I mean,
just
kinda, but not kinda. It depends. I guess it depends. Like if she just wants depreciation, but still, like, I mean, you can put that money into a savings account for 5%. So why am I putting it into a riskier asset for 1.56? But also, maybe she's like, man, I need all this depreciation, and I don't give a shit about returns. We can hold this for 10 years and more than likely make money. So like I need, you know, $550,000 of depreciation. So let's see if we can do that.
okay.
I don't know.
Interesting. All right. So this I can't really, there's not much I can edit on this. This is just kind of like a, oh, wait. It's the performa. Okay. Sorry. So this automatically, okay, it automatically populates. So I could change this if it were different in year two. Oh, right.
Yeah.
So after 10 years, so here's 10, here 10. Going down here. Oh, I had to change this, don't I? These
No,
numbers.
Yes.
or
Yes.
don't listen to me. What are we changing it to? 50?
She has all the expenses up top, so you just do all zeros right there.
Oh, okay.
Because we have no tenant owned only. So
Oop. Oh, don't do that to me. There we go. Change that for all of these.
well, that helps the returns.
A little bit, yeah. Not
Yeah,
so bad.
14,000 a year you're saving.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at
Big.
that. All of a sudden, your 1% is going to go to, well, I mean, it goes substantially higher, probably, right?
Okay.
Depending
So
on the split.
let's see. All right. So the DSCR looks good. I mean, but for the lots, like, let's see. Okay, so it's cash flowing this much.
It takes
This
10
amount.
years to get to a 1.6 DSCR. That's crazy talk.
So I guess maybe it's a conversation for another time, but just like trying to understand like what motivates someone to buy this. Is it just like you were saying, like depreciation, like tax
No,
shelter?
I mean, so just because the broker said we have all these offers in, like that doesn't mean shit. Like then go with those offers. If you got a full price offer, take it. But here's the best I can do. You know, I think Matt, maybe you saw the back and forth with the guy in Fayetteville where like we had agreed upon number, but like we had an agreed upon number. I wanted him to finance half of it and the bank financed the other half, only because DSCR is low on it. DSCR, you're looking for at least 1.25, if not 1.3 to 1.35 right now. That changes, Stephen, just to let you know. It changes depending on the volatility in the market and how banks are feeling. But that's right now. But anyway, so this guy's like, I'm like, you gotta finance half of it, and you know, because of DSCR, and I can give you, you know, we'll get the other half financed by the bank. We'll give you, you know, 2% interest only payments. And he's like, okay, well, instead of half, can you pay an extra $100,000 more because the guy wants to clear his note. And I'm like, okay, let me plug that into the analyzer and see what that looks like. So I put that in and I said, we can do that, but if we do that, can we make it so we're not going to give any payments and we just put that all on the back end? So it's like he was going to make, I don't know, $15,000 a year, $14,000 a year. Can we just pay you 70,000 when we refi out and get you all out there? And he said, well, you know, the seller really liked the monthly payments, and so I was just like, what's more important, like price, down payment, or monthly payment? And he came back with basically like, oh, they're all important, but like he wants the full price and he wants that much down. And I was like, well, like we can't, you know, we could probably do $90,000 less, so it's a smaller deal. So like we can probably do a little bit less, you know, but like only because if I'm giving you this and this, my investor returns are less than what I can feasibly do. So I have to come down on price. So it's like, you know, which lever can I pull? What's most important to your guy? And but and so long story short, he said the same thing. Well, we have a few other offers, so you know the guy's not really apt to be moving at this time. And it's just like, okay, sweet, you should take one of those offers because, like, why are we talking? I'm not gonna bid against myself. So take one of those offers or come back to the table, whatever. This deal is every deal's a whatever deal. End rant. No more.
Right. So
It makes perfect sense though.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, you're what I don't like, um, in the analyzer is that I don't think it's taking into consideration the old park-owned homes. Matt's gonna tell me that I'm wrong, and I hope so. I hope so.
At sale, you mean? At exit?
Say that again.
At sale, at the exit, you mean? It doesn't take into consideration?
Yeah, doesn't it? Doesn't it not?
No, it does not. That's why we talked about putting the shell value in there at exit, because it only looks at lot rents and puts a cap on that, and that's it.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, yeah. I I like everything you've done in the analyzer. I would play around and maybe go to a 70-30 split and see what number works. And then I would offer on that number. I'd put a LOI out and then I'd go on to the next one. Because this deal is likely not for you. And that's okay. That's okay. And maybe they do have full price offers. I hope they go for those. I hope everyone, you know, gets what they want. You can't control, you know, other people buying for different reasons. Maybe someone does. Maybe someone's buying and they sold their house in New York and they're moving down to Florida and they want to live on the beach, but they also have always dreamt of owning a mobile home park. And so they're going to, you know, sell their house for 2 million in New York and come in and buy this thing cash, and they don't care about the cash flow. They don't care about, you know, all they want to do is live for free in a community that they have dreamed about since they were kids.
That's true. I mean, who are we to know? We could
Yeah,
could be a reason. Okay. So I don't know. Sorry if I took up. I actually can't see what time it is.
this was good, dude. This is good. We have like 2 more minutes. But like I like this because it's a real world example of like where we can go through and be like, yes, this is right. No, this is wrong. You know, it's like how, so stuff like this moves the needle because you know the fundamentals of stuff like this, and then you put an LOI out and it's a probable no, but you just keep doing it. There's no like, oh my gosh, Tim's got some freaking hidden thing that needs to be done. There's nothing hidden. It's just putting the work in, analyzing a ton of these, talking to a ton of brokers, putting a lot of offers out and hearing no 1,000 times. So
And it was fantastic also because it answered questions for me that I had on the spreadsheet where I got hung up a little bit. You know, which incidentally, Tim, that park that I told you about, 2.1. They're crazy. They're off their rocker.
Mm.
But hey, you know, one thing that we have to realize in this business is that you'll go after 50, 100, and one person's going to say yes. And in the meantime, we'll just get really, really good at underwriting.
That's it. That's the secret. So if anyone asks what the secret is, it's just putting the freaking work in. So
Absolutely. And things will come up by doing things like this because you listen and you learn, and then you'll know that, hey, we got to look out for this. You got to look out for that.
mhm. All right,
Which
guys. Well,
incidentally too, I wanted to mention that before when you said about charging for utilities on multifamily, Yaden actually made a comment on that, and he said, no, you never want to do that. That's a no-no.
Mm.
But I'm just FYI in it, you know.
that's interesting, dude. I mean, that's what I thought, and that's what I heard. So that's why I say
I mean,
it.
it made sense what he said because that's not what we make money on. And if it ever comes back at you, it's not something where you want to be in a position where you want to explain to somebody why you're making money on utilities. That's not our
Yeah.
business. Anyway, that's him saying it, not me. So
Thanks for sharing, bro. All right, guys. I'm gonna run. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Vanessa, for sharing your deal. I really appreciate it.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it too.
I'll
Thank
see y'all
you.
next time. If
yeah,
I
it was
See you later.
can
awesome.
do it
All right.
all, hit
Yeah,
me
guys.
up.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Bye.